that song, but I probably played entirely too much of it. I played enough of it that I can't mention the words associated with that song or title this anything to do with that song. It's a weird world, isn't it? So, I wanted to title this something. I titled something this before. It was on this before, but I'm not going to talk about this again because I feel like talking about it again. So, this is Peace Pirate and a Land Submarine. This is my idea, basically, for the future. So I'm building a rig to go submarine camping. And you could use it for a lot of things, but this is how I think it applies to survival and our situation here. So the goal is to have one self-contained vehicle that is a standard vehicle of some sort that you could drive as a daily driver kind of a thing that can also do this, which is it is optimized to be loaded to its brim full of food like a submarine going out under the ice pack, and to go, way out into the boonies somewhere and deploy a campsite kind of thing made of probably a parachute suspended in a canopy kind of thing and a tent of some sort. And between having a, minivan bed thing / kitchen with a parachute over it and having a big ass tent, and having the whole car packed and loaded for bear with food when you go out, you could stay out there a long goddamn time. And this is where having some books and movies and bushcraft stuff and that's what all that's about. I don't know that this is something I'm ever going to have to do. But the rig that I'm building for that is the shit you could literally do a lot of different stuff with. I think it's a good goal to have. Not to mention the fact that I'm not really interested in I'm going to spend $80 billion on some RV. That looks nice, but you have to drive that bitch, man. The money is ridiculous. Driving it is ridiculous. The fuel economy is ridiculous. I could go on. This is basically, I am advocating for you to go RVing in a minivan. I know that sounds crazy, but think about it. How cheap can you get minivans? My minivan Ghost Rider. I'll make the thumbnail of this a picture of Ghost Rider. She's awesome. I got her for $2,000. And that's half of why I'm, Mad Max modding that motherfucker. I'm gonna ride that bitch till she dies. I call her Ghost Rider because my last car was a FJ, a Toyota FJ Cruiser, and it was OD Green. It was a OD Green TRD Special Edition from 2011. And when I sold it, I bought this $2,000 beater and spray painted her fucking OD and brown and black and kind of this crazy woodlandish thing that's mostly green. And she's Ghost Rider because whatever the Ghost Rider rides, it becomes the Ghost Rider's ride. And that's what's happening to that minivan. She's slowly being turned into something that resembles a Toyota FJ Cruiser. Also, it's a Honda, and it has 169,000 miles on it, and they just put a brand new transmission in it before Grandma hit a curb with it. And it drove like it was new the day I got it. At the moment, she needs some fucking tire shit, and I don't know, it's a thing. It's okay. I just can't drive as fast as I would like to, which is probably a good thing according to Smoke because I burn transmissions. I don't think I burned transmissions, though. The FJ was just fine, although it was a Toyota Racing Development special edition that I put 65,000 miles on that car in 10 years. I don't drive a lot. It's not, I drive to go around where I need to go in town. But that's the thing for me, is that an automobile is basically, to go to grandma's house and back occasionally, go shopping occasionally, go out to the boonies and fuck around maybe once in a while. You don't need that much gas to do that shit. I don't know. Maybe I'm just kind of a homebody or whatever. It's kind of a good thing, because Ghost Rider's now a straight pipe 6-cylinder, so she uses some gasoline. Especially driving the way I do. I can burn through some fucking gas. But to be honest, I kind of think that given the end of the world that we see ourselves in, there's lots of minivans. I need to save up money to just have a minivan fund, but I'm not at a place where I can do that at the moment. The fund for buying the next minivan whenever this one dies. Because, this is my thing, is pretty much from here on out, there's always going to be $2,000 minivans because nobody likes them. And there's nothing wrong with them. In fact, I have buttons on my dash that make Huey doors open. That's dope. You can't buy that anywhere for any amount of money on a car. And it's free on the $2,000 one. And this is my real goal here, is to lift it and put pretty big tires on it and make damn near a monster truck out of the thing. Not super monster trucky, but monster trucky enough that people are like, what is that? And it will take them a minute to realize that it is a highly modified minivan. It's going to be dope. The Mom-mobile of Doom. I like it. Right now, as she sits, if I put air in the tires, I can go 140 miles an hour in that bitch. That's dope. She goes faster than the FJ did. Of course, that's because she's had her catalytic converter cut out. I don't see a problem with that, to be honest. It does tend to make some exhaust, though. Some jackass cut off the catalytic converter with a sawzall some night. And I'm kind of glad that happened, because basically that's the only thing that people could really fuck with on that car that I'd have to worry about. And now it's already gone. So, gosh, what you gonna do about it? And I think she drives better than she did before. So, before, her engine did not have a lot of giddy up. Now, if I put my foot on the floor, she goes to about 60 or 70 real quick. Which people, I guess, don't expect a minivan to do. I've had several people, be dicks to me. You shouldn't be a dick to a fucking camouflage painted minivan. That's just some free life advice. I might just be down to fucking chase you down with the black powder revolver and fucking shoot your tires out and run you off the road. Who knows? You might pick the wrong fucking day. That's why I paint the car that way. It cuts down on the jackassery. Except for the people who, just, dart at you for no reason because you have a fucking weird car. That's the thing. I think some of that is, they can't stop looking at it. And they're, making a turn and they can't stop looking at it and looking at it and looking at it until they fucking hit it. No one's hit it yet. Yeah, church, I'll open the window. If you can hear the birds, church is about to start freaking out. Cat's ridiculous. He'd start chattering. He was already like over there with his paw, like doing this shit at the blinds. Like, come on, open, bitch. Oh, didn't blow my nose. Sorry. Oh, finally getting over being sick at least. Probably had the COVID. I just assume every time I'm sick that I got the COVID. I don't ever go to the hospital, so I don't know. Because fuck those people. Be honest, half of the message of my whole channel is, if you're young and you're watching me, know that nursing homes suck. Die young. My advice. I got a couple of sneak peeks into that in my life and pretty much made my decisions that somewhere, I don't know, around the age where I can't do shit for myself anymore, I'm going to take a trip to Alaska. You know, find someplace on the north slope and just start walking north. That's a better fate than anything in a fucking nursing home. Anyway, I like the land submarine idea. I think it gives you a lot of freedom. And I terming it the land submarine because it's a sleeper, really. If I didn't have the camo paint on there and the roof rack and shit that I'm going to add, no one would know it wasn't just a regular minivan. I think you're going to have a roof rack and a solar panel, which at that point, people are going to be like, what's up with that car? So you might as well go with it. I'll also add that, I'm going to add like a winch and lights and shit, and like I said, bigger tires. I think all of that shit is just adding capabilities. It's 2-wheel drive, front wheel drive only, and man, that with big tires will go most places. That with the tires it has on it is not held up by snow at all. I went and drove in the snow like a motherfucker. Ghost Rider's a good snowmobile. And basically, it's just that she just drags her ass everywhere she goes. You know, if you get stuck someplace or whatever, like, you have to kind of watch where you're going, right? Like, you have to make smart choices. Can you make it in and out of there? Yes or no? And if it's even a possibility, then it's no. Unless you have a winch and a shovel and a way to do that shit, like, I wouldn't even try. But this is where, like, in reality, a 2-wheel drive Willys Jeep with a winch on the front and a fire axe and a shovel can go most places. Ghost Rider is about that capable. At the moment, she's a little too low at clearance. That's where the bigger tires and shit will help. Although, Sam... whatever. Sorry, I fucking lost my place. The fucking, anyway, I just fucked up. That happens sometimes. I'm smoking. Sorry. Anyway, it's kind of a sleeper. That's the goal. And I want it to be a sleeper in so much that it is a normal vehicle. There's nothing about it that like hinders you from going through a drive-through. There's nothing that hinders you from like using it as a daily driver, basically. It can be a grocery getter slash A-team van. That's kind of what I'm building, is like a ghetto ass A-team van. It's already pretty dope, and it just has like a mattress thrown in the back of it. I took out the seats and have a twin mattress back there. And then the like trunk area, I'm going to convert into a kitchen-ish area with a gas stove and a solar-powered fridge. And that's kind of like the core of this whole setup, really, is that you have a bed, a fridge, and a gas stove all in your car. I think it's interesting that one of the items on my list of things you have to have in the car is one of the things they're trying to ban, the gas stove. The humble gas stove. Saw a meme. It was a bunch of grannies with AR-15s, and it says Meemaws when the gas stove ban happens. That's accurate. You have to have a good gas stove, right? I kind of wish I had a 2-burner one, but I don't have room for that, so I got the 1-burner one. Got like the single burner basic bitch Coleman camp stove with a conversion tube. What is that, like hose to propane tanks, like barbecue grill size propane tanks. I've got a bunch of those. Oh, I kind of figure I'll have one on it and one in the roof rack and have a shitload of propane. That's 40 pounds of propane, and most people that go RVing like that have 5 pounds of propane, if that. We won't be able to cook for a long time. My thing is 5-pound bottle, 20-pound bottle doesn't make a big difference in the explosion. You know, they're both relatively small canisters of propane. Oh, and I'm not driving around with that shit in there all the time. At least not right now. I might eventually. At the moment, it's kind of in process, and I don't know. I've got like some canned goods and some water and a mattress and an electric blanket in there. I need to like pack a fucking emergency kit to keep in the car with that shit too. I don't have that yet because I'm kind of like working on the build of the car, and then we're going to see where we have to fit a bag that's always going to be in there. Like how big of a bag we can get. I'm going to make a car emergency bag kind of thing. I have like a self-jumping thing, hopefully. And full toolkit and stuff like blankets and cold weather survival stuff and maybe some warm weather survival stuff, although that's pretty much just water. There might be something else you could throw in there for that, like a sunshade or something. I'm building basically the ultimate van for Les Stroud to get stranded in. That's, I think that's not a bad idea, really. Like, I'm a big fan of Les Stroud. If you guys have never watched any of his shit, like, half of why we do what we do here is because we liked Les Stroud and Nuttin' Fancy. And this is my survival blog now. In whatever apocalypse that this is that we're going through. I'm going through it anyway. I watch it every fucking day. Every day, my ability to buy shit slowly goes away. And every day, it looks like we loom towards war. I don't know. Oh. The Les Stroud survival van. I've got a Wilson volleyball from Castaway, and it goes on like your car antenna. And I'm going to take some really strong epoxy and epoxy that bitch onto an antenna eventually. I might upgrade the antenna before I do that. I don't know. It just has the basic bitch one on there, but there's nothing wrong with that too. Like, I don't know. I could get like a stubby antenna. I don't know what advantages there are to better antennas on cars. But if I'm going to like glue on the Wilson thing, I might at least consider that before I do it. The survival van. It's like a bushcraft van. Kinda. Like, how far out into the fucking sticks do you really need to be able to drive if you're going to go bushcrafting or whatever? Like, you need to be able to drive to, like, the end of the trail, because then you're going to start walking. Like, I don't see the point in having some, like... My issue with the 4x4 community is the same issue that I have with the RVing community, in that it's expensive. All of it's expensive just to fucking even get started in the, like, 4x4 shit. Like, honestly, I had a better rig for that I sold, right? Like, I got $28,000 for my fucking FJ. And I like my van better. I know that I'm weird. It has way more room in it. It drives just as well, if not better. The only thing it doesn't do well is clear curbs and shit, which is probably better that I can't do. I'm entirely too tempted. I have been known to put it into 4x4 in traffic and fucking, I don't know, just leave. You ever seen the movie Falling Out? Was it Falling Out or Falling Down? I think it's one or the other. Falling Down. It's gotta be Falling Down. He just like gets out of his car in the middle of traffic and walks off. I relate. I relate to that movie in many ways, to be honest. All he wanted was to fucking go home. All I wanted was a fucking whammy burger. Now you're gonna die in your stupid little hat. Mixing together scenes, but yeah, that's the vibes of that movie. Forget exactly what the whammy burger thing was. I think it was he wanted the whammy breakfast, but it was 10:31, so now they just serve whammy burgers. Not that that is picking on any corporation in particular that has horrible hamburgers and decent breakfast. McDonald's. Like, I don't know. Every time I go to McDonald's, and get a hamburger or something like that, I regret it. Maybe that's just me. Like, I'd rather have the chicken nuggets. Cheeseburger wise, like, honestly, I've been going to Jack in the Box here lately because they're cheap, and they've just built one basically in between my house, my grandma's house, and my great grandma's house. And I don't know. It's, our neck of the woods, and it's decent. I am not impressed with Jack in the Box. To be honest, I think I'm just gonna start going to Whataburger. Say fuck all that noise, because there's one of those not very far away too. Like, this is half of the thing is, in this end of the world or whatever, my expenditures on the shit that I like. I am a Jimmy Buffett girl at heart. I like margaritas and cheeseburgers. And, assorted Mexican food as well, to be honest. But, like, a good cheeseburger is something that you can get relatively cheap. That is amazing. And a margarita, likewise, you can get stuff to make your own margaritas that are amazing at home for damn near nothing. Like, you can make gallons of it for fucking, $40, $50. There's probably even cheaper ways to do margaritas or whatever, right? Like, I could go for a margarita and a cheeseburger. That's where this conversation is going. Sounds really good. And fries. You gotta have, like, good fries, right? Like, that's one of the things I do like about Jack in the Box is that they have curly fries like Arby's. But, like, this is the other thing to me, too, is that there's an Arby's not very far from here, too. So I really ought to just go to Arby's and fucking Whataburger. They're both way better than any of the other stuff. Like, I've been looking for a replacement for McDonald's, basically, because, like, I think they kind of suck. But they are a thing that's very handy and cheap. And I was wanting to find something else that was handy and cheap. And there really isn't. Like, this is where, like, Whataburger and Arby's are, they're way better, but they're a little more expensive. And I think that's what I'm going to be doing from now on. I don't eat out that much anyway, so. It sucked because it used to be able to, like, go to McDonald's for like $10 and get, a drink and a bunch of fucking fries and a couple burgers or whatever, and fucking, have money left over. And it was decent food. And now it's like, it's gone even more downhill than it was before. I don't know. And, like, the nostalgia was the reason I went there before. And now, like, that nostalgia is damn near gone because it's not even as good as it once was. This is kind of a lot of places, really. And it's a lot of things that are run by the giant corporate machines of the world. Not that Whataburger isn't now. They just became a giant corporation, really. They were kind of a smaller local chain for a very long time. Arby's, this is weird, but I'm actually related to the people that own Arby's. We go to Christmas together and shit sometimes, if we go to the right grandma's house. Yeah. So, I wish I had some of that Arby's money, but no, we don't get none of that. They do make a quality sandwich, though. I used to like going to Brahms, but honestly, the people at Brahms suck. I'm not going to go into it, but, like, the people at my local Brahms here. A Brahms, for those who aren't in Oklahoma or Texas, it's like an old-fashioned burger stand with, like, a ice cream shop built into it. And they do malts and shakes and stuff. And fries and burgers and chicken sandwiches and chicken strips. And it's kind of like our own version of a fast food sort of a thing. But it's from around here. It's good. The one here is, well, its crude is, well, they're not very ethnically diverse. Let's put it that way. And they all act like they fucking hate me. So I just don't go there. I'm not even going to say what ethnicity it is. It doesn't matter. I am not the ethnicity that they are, and they treat anyone that isn't that ethnicity black like shit. So fuck Brahms. And this is the shit that's going to get us, like, I'm not a racist. I wasn't. To be honest, I'm kind of at the point now where, like, you should be careful because I'm a Muslim and I'm a Southerner. And Muslims and Southerners both believe in slavery. And I could foresee a day where it's perfectly okay to enslave the Gentile or whatever, like, whoever. Make up some fucking excuse. Fucking enslave the infidels. Maybe not. I really, I drip with venom at all of this woke bullshit to the point that I advocate for slavery. That's really to the point it is. I don't really believe in slavery or being a Muslim. But, if you keep pushing, I'm going to go so far fucking conservative that it'll make your fucking head spin. That's how I see the world. I hate these people. And as such, like, the whole peace pirate and a land submarine thing is me trying to desperately just go walk away. I don't know that that's going to happen. It's hard to just walk away when people are just fucking destroying the country to the point that, like, you won't be able to come into town and get new supplies. Because there ain't going to be a town left because everybody's going to be nuked. Anyway. I keep trying to come up with things that I need to do that. And I've kind of put getting car stuff on the back burner. I was focusing on finishing guns. And now I'm kind of like, I really want to get my web gear squared away. And like, those are the 3 projects that I kind of keep bouncing back and forth between, is throwing money at my second AR-15, throwing money at web gear, throwing money at car stuff. And past that, it's just general preps and whatever, other things that I need. I don't even mention some of those. Like, it's just like, I bought a bunch of fucking ibuprofen and fucking Benadryl. There's a few other, like, weird preps and whatever that, like, I don't know. I need more meds and medications and medical shit, but I kind of figure having, like, a basic bitch first aid kit and a stash of most meds that you could ever want to take on, like, a hey, I need one of these kind of basis. That's probably just handy. Antibiotics and shit. Probably a good idea, but I don't know. Most of the time when you're sick, at least for me, it's a virus. And taking those antibiotics doesn't do shit for you. So, knowing that, maybe it's better to focus on Advil and Benadryl and things that help you fucking just not feel like total shit. Fight off the illness. It seems like in our world today, everybody's getting sick. This used to not be a thing. People didn't get sick. So you know, like, it was an unusual thing when they did. Right? Like, at least for like a grown adult man, they were not, coming down with an upper respiratory condition every 2 to 3 months for their entire lives. That wasn't a thing, 50 years ago. And maybe it was for some people, I don't know, but I really think a lot of this shit is being caused by our fucking society and food supply and shit. And like, I don't have sickness like that much, but it seems like based on like the people that I know in my life, they seem to be sick every few months. Myself somewhat included in that since COVID. Which is why I think it is COVID. I don't know. It's weird. I don't think it's because we were out, amongst the people or whatever. Like, that's the reason why it's going to be bad now after all of this fucking quarantining and shit for most people is because they haven't fucking touched another human being in 2.5 years. I like to touch people. I like to touch people in their no-no squares. Male people. Anyway, that's why I'm probably going to die of STDs. Whereas the rest of y'all, are going to, like, I don't know, be bubble boys forever. Probably. I think it's kind of funny. There's a lot of bubble boys right now. Honestly, to some extent, given some of the news of late, I'm kind of holing up again. I really need to go take a big trip to the store. This is where I might just do that for preps next week. Have an extra fucking couple $100 at the grocery store would be nice. The grocery shit is getting out of hand. Like, I know it's even worse in other places than it is here, but, like, goddamn. It's to the point that I don't really like spending money on groceries. And then, like, you go out to eat, and it's pretty much just as bad. Like, a lot of the fast food shit, the prices haven't fluctuated that much. If you go to a sit-down restaurant around here, the prices are insane. Mainly because, like, they've reduced portions by half and doubled the price. And, like, one or the other, like, okay. But doing both of those, like, I don't know. It makes me way less inclined to go to any restaurant. There's a Mexican place I like to go that's still cheap and good. I go there. I got a sub the other day at a sandwich shop that's been open down the street from me since, like, I don't know, the 70s at least. And it was still about the same price. It was like $10 for a big drink sandwich and chips. And when I say sandwich, it was like a sub sandwich. It's a Bill and Ruth's. I don't know if Bill and Ruth's is nationwide or not. They're like a franchise thing around here of sub shops. But they're always owned by like an immigrant family. I don't know what's up with that, but they are. I think it's like that's who they're, like, someone franchises through some sort of immigration thing or something. I don't know, but the one that I went to was owned by some Koreans, I believe. I want to say Koreans. They might be Japanese. They make sushi there also, and that would make you think Japanese, but they're also making sub sandwiches there, which, you know, that Koreans do weird shit, and I want to say that they're Korean. Doesn't really matter. Either way, they make really good sandwiches, and they have sushi there. And the sushi's good, too. Like, the sushi's legit. If I was going to go get sushi in Tulsa, it's one of the 3 places I would go. I watched a thing on boot knives, and I've been playing with this ever since. I think the concept of a boot knife is flawed, but it reminds me of Jack Burton in Big Trouble in Little China. It makes me want to get a cold steel counterattack, because that knife always it's the best version of the Jack Burton knife. The Jack Burton knife is actually like a Gerber. I forget the name of the Gerber it is. I'm not a fan of that knife. I am a fan of the cold steel version of that knife. This thing is a Kershaw. I dig it. It's got a false edge on one side and a real edge on the other. I think I'm going to break out a bunch of knives and do a bunch of knife reviews, because I have a bunch of stuff that I've bought over the years that I still have, and some of it that I've bought here recently that I've just been modifying and playing with. I'm going to do reviews on everything. Why not? Make it a knife review channel for a bit. It'd be fun. Something to do. Also, I keep wanting to buy a kukri, and like there's a high likelihood that I say fuck it and buy a kukri this week for preps and spend all the rest of the money at the grocery store. I kind of found one that I like. I found several that I like, but the last one I found I like is a Condor. It's the Condor K-Tac kukri. Whenever I get that, I'll do more about that or whatever. But the guy that won the first season of Alone carried a Condor kukri, and then that's his redesign of it after that. And it looks pretty fucking dope. I'm excited to try it anyway. And it's significantly cheaper than the Nepalese kuk that I was looking at otherwise. And it is a solo blade and a modern sheath. That's probably a good thing. I don't know. I don't really like the fact that kukris come with all the little knives. I know that's like a thing that everybody likes about them or whatever. I don't know. I go back and forth. If the knives are well done and functional and stay in the sheath and whatever, then yeah, they're great. But like, if they're not well done and they're not functional and they don't stay in the sheath, then why are they there in the first place? Like, either make them good or don't make them at all. There's a lot of kukris made in fucking Nepal that they're like decoration, basically. They're like tourist trash. It's sad that, it's hard to get, quality kooks from Nepal, really. There's a few places where you can just buy one now, but in reality, you're way overpaying for those. Well, anyway, tell me what you think. Should I do knife TV? I think that'd be cool. Ray Ray's Knife TV, where you go to get stabbed in the dark. I don't know. I like a little fixed blade. They're just fun. I'm not sure they're very practical for much. Like, I guess, like, if you're using this, like, as a utility knife, like, you can cut things with it or whatever, but, like, that's not really its intended purpose. Well, now I'm just reflecting on my girlfriend, because, like, this was her knife at one point to defend herself with. She rotated through a bunch of shit, and she left most of them here when she left. But I bought this, and then it kind of fell into her rotation of shit she carried. I miss her. It's like, it's hard to find anyone that you click with. But when you are a transgender lesbian who likes guns and the Constitution, my dating pool is small. And she was an anarcho-communist, and I overlooked that. Yeah. I'm not sure really that's something that you should overlook, but she was real hot. And she liked me. And, okay. It's one of those, like, if you are really pretty and you really like me and you keep hanging around and you're really good at sucking my dick, okay, you can believe in communism. I don't care. It'll make our debates interesting. And that was the hot part, really. I miss having someone that I, like, could intellectually spar with in a friendly way that ended in sex. This is the solution for the world. The Republicans and Democrats just don't need to have, like, some fucking orgy. Yeah, or maybe not. Let's get rid of the current crop of them and replace them with young hot porn stars, and then we'll do that. Okay, now everybody get along. It's like Mike Tyson. Now Kith. See you guys later.